All right, so we're calculating the rate in these questions. So that's the little r. So if we just look at what it says up top here, it says when we did appreciation and when we solve for r, we're basically doing the same formula, other than we're adding compounding periods, the letter little m, to the formula. So if you go back to your formula package and I go to the exponents part where it said appreciation, and we go to the R, we have future value divided by present value, all to the exponent of 1 over t minus 1. So that's what we used in the first part of chapter 4. All we've done, if you go into the compound interest, go to the rate part, all see this part's the same. 1 over t minus 1, that was all there in appreciation. All we've done is added the little m here and here. So that's all we've done. Okay, so I've rewritten the formula here, and that's what we're working with. So we'll do number one. So number one, we have a principal or present value, 100 bucks, and it's going to grow to $125.97 in 3 years. Calculate the interest rate, so little r, if it's compounded annually. So that means m equals 1. Okay, so we've got r over 1 equals, so in the future it's going to be $125.97. Presently, it's $100. 1 over 3 years, m is 1, and I'm going to go subtract 1 way out here. Don't forget that subtract 1. Okay, so r divided by 1 is just r. So I'm just going to write r. So I'm going to do 125.97 divided by 100. So I've got 1.2597. And then I'm going to do 1 divided by 3, which is this one. And so that's just 0.3333. And 4 decimal places, you're fine, minus 1. Okay, so I'm going to take the 1.2597 and I'm going to do it to the exponent of 0.3333 equals. And then I'm going to subtract 1. So I've got 0.079988. Now, remember, r is actually, I want to know the percent part. So the part you have to do now, you have to also still multiply by 100 to turn in the decimal back into a percent. So when I go times 100, now I've got my percent answer. So I've got 7.99%. Now, if I round it, it's actually going to round to 8.0%. Okay, so I would accept either answer. Um, but usually for these percentages, go to 2 decimal places. When I round it, it actually would be 8.00%. Okay, I'm going to do number 3. I'm going to do this question again, just so you can see the difference between annually versus monthly. Okay, so I'm going to go back and I'm just going to erase this. Remember, I'm using the same formula. And then I just want to plug in those new numbers, just so you could see it's a little bit more work when it's not annually. Okay, so all this is saying is a principal 600 has a future value of $974.60 in 7 years, compounded monthly. So we've got R over 12 because M is 12 because it's compounded monthly. The future value is $974.60 divided by, I started off with 600. It's all to the exponent of 1 over t. T is 7 years. M is 12. And I'm going to go minus 1. Okay, so I'm going to leave, let me just erase this part as well. I'm going to leave the left side, r over 12, just the way it is. So leave that alone. Okay, so I'm going to take the $974.6 and divide it by 600. Okay, so at least 4 decimal places. So 1.6243. That's good enough. And then I'm going to do the 7 times 12. That's in the exponent. Okay, that's 84. Okay, so that's this part I'm talking about right here. And then I'm just going to do 1 divided by 84. Okay, so I'm going to write that decimal at least to 4 decimal places. So 0.0119. And then I have that subtract 1. Don't forget about that subtract 1. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite the r over 12. And then now I'm just going to work it out. So I've got 1.6243 to the exponent of 0.0119. I'm going to hit equals, and I'm going to go subtract 1. Okay, so for that part, I've got 0.0057. Now I'm going to go a few more decimal places. So I'm going to go 8, 9, just so I have a few more. Okay, because I only had two numbers there, 5, 7. Okay, I'm going to put a 1 over it. I want to get r by itself. So we're going to cross multiply. So we've got r equals, so I'm just going to, I left it in my calculator, so I'm just going to go times 12 and I go equals. So I've got 0.069469. Now remember, I want the percentage, so I'm going to multiply by 100. So times 100. And then now as a percent, two decimal places is fine. So I've got 6 point, now this rounds on my calculator, 95%. And I'm done.